今朝からの被害を映像にまとめました。
こちらは輪島市の本町通り、通称朝市通りと言われている場所です。多くの出店が立ち並び、多くの観光客を受け入れていた場所です。空襲でもあったような一面焼け野原になっています。ご覧いただけるでしょうか。まだこの家の中では炎が立ち上がっています。車が、発生した亀裂の中に入っちゃっています。これもひどいな。
どうにもならんわ。助けてほしいけども、
何十年でここにそんなにおるんけど、初めてやし、びっくりした。
倒壊しているのは2階建ての一軒家です。まだ電線がつながっていることが見てわかります。隣の住宅の外壁、そして窓が落ちてしまい散乱しているという状況です。
82歳のおばあさんが英語をペラペラ喋り出した理由。今からこの3分間のビデオ。
私は輪島市門前町に来ています。こちらは輪島市の中心部から南西におよそ18キロ進んだところなんですけれども、私の後ろをご覧ください。このように建物が大きく崩落しています。屋根も崩落していて、地面には瓦が多く飛び散っているのが確認できます。実はそしてなんですけれども、こちらはもともと道路だったということで、現在はその道路を家屋が倒壊しているせいで通行ができなくなってしまっています。そしてこの家屋からですね、もう少し先に進んでいきますと、あちらにも倒壊している建物があります。こちらの建物も大きく倒壊しているんですけれども、屋根の高さがですね、私の目線と同じ高さまで落ちてきています。そしてこの中にはですね、白い乗用車が1台止まっています。そしてこの乗用車、今は取り出せなくなってしまっています。先ほど、こちらの建物を所有する住人の方にお話を伺ったんですけれども、こちらの建物はですね、最大震度7を記録した地震ではなく、その後の度重なる地震で、このように崩れたということです。私も取材中、何度も揺れを感じています。この後は引き続き最大限地震に警戒が必要です。
こちら、大きな地震があった石川県の様子、被害状況を上空からお伝え。
So, brothers, this is your brother in Japan. I'm here on my BSP channel. So yeah, your brother was in the deadly earthquake, man. I'm gonna go ahead and explain what happened and let you brothers know it wasn't a pleasant experience. It was my second time in an earthquake in Japan. So the first earthquake I was in was when Kobe got hit in '95. I was 2 hours away, and I felt the place I was living in at the time, it was an apartment building, and there was parking under the building, so it was basically an apartment building. I was kinda standing on these legs, and man, that thing was shaking, everything in my place was shaking for a few seconds, and it was kinda scary because it just felt, like, really wobbly, and, when you experience an earthquake, brothers, you really don't have there's nothing you can do at that moment but try to get to safety. It's not like the movies where you can just see people running through while earthquakes happening. That doesn't happen, brothers. You can hardly move. You can hardly stand up. I'm gonna get to that in a minute here. But what's up, So Shader? Thanks for coming on, brother. Let me get to that in a minute here. But so that was my first earthquake in '95. Now I just want to do a little history on big earthquakes in Japan in recent times. Since I've been affiliated with Japan since '85, there's been three major earthquakes. There was the one in '95 in Kobe, and the one in 2011, which everybody knows tsunami killed most of the people that died in that. There was a lot of injuries, a lot of deaths on the earthquake as well. But the tsunami combined with the earthquake is what really gets people. And then now this is the third biggest one I've experienced. Out of those three earthquakes, I've been in two of them. And but what I'm getting at is the earthquake I was in and during the Kobe time was almost 30 years ago. And then the 2011 one was almost 13 years ago. So they don't happen much, but when they do happen, they bring alarm, they bring fear, and they bring the thought of death to you. So let me get into what happened to me um within what is it? What time is it now? It's yeah, almost 24 hours ago, because right now it's 2:41 in the afternoon. And this earthquake hit around 4:05 actually, is when I first felt it. I sound pretty bad right now because I got a cold. I picked up a cold from my son last week, and of course my in-laws picked up the same cold, and my wife picked up the same cold. So she's sick, I'm sick, coughing all over the place. We're wearing masks in the house to keep my daughter from getting sick, but now she's got a fever, so we have to deal with that. But so what I was trying to do was I was like New Year's Eve, man. I went to bed about like 8 something. And I was just laying down, man, and I didn't take any medicine that time, which like I should have. And I had a fever, man. I was, just trying to get over this thing. So then the next day I woke up and I was kind of messed up. I finally took some vitamins later on. I mean some medicine later on that day, and I started feeling better. But I was laying down. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna get downstairs. I went downstairs a couple times, and then I think when the earthquake hit, I was actually going to go downstairs within an hour or so. I was starting to feel a little bit to the point where I needed to get downstairs. Well, what happened was I was laying in my bed, and the room that we sleep in is above the garage, and it kind of sticks out from the house a little bit. So when the wind blows, man, you can feel it shaking. And normally what I do is I look up and I see the little, smoke detector cable moving back and forth. I know that's more than the wind, right? So anyway, I'm laying in the bed and then I feel this jolt. I'm like, oh, and I said, wait, this didn't feel like the wind because there was no wind outside. And I looked at my phone, which was right next to me, and there was a note from NHK News that there was an earthquake intensity of like a 5 point something that hit out in Izu, not Izu, I'm sorry, but Noto over there, which is when you look at the map of Japan, you see that hook sticking out. I am actually where we live now. We are 63 miles straight from that hook. So not driving. Driving takes a while, but if you just go straight there through the water and everything, we're 63 miles from that place. Now that was the first one. They had hit 5.4. That was about 4. I got it all in the history, man, on my my phone here. I can't really show it to you, but I got my earthquake app, and which I now leave. I had notifications turned off for a minute, but now I got my notifications turned back on. So I'm just going to give you a history of when this happened. So I first noticed a shake at like 4:06, I think it was, and then I looked around. My wife was coming into the room, and then I looked up. I saw another little head. My daughter had peeped up, and my wife, remember, she looked at her and she said, "Oh, hey, you followed me upstairs." And she climbed upstairs, which is what I don't like her to do, but she climbed upstairs. And these stairs aren't the best stairs because it's an older house. They're really narrow, and they're not as you know they don't stick out as much as they do in the States. So it's mainly built for people with small feet. Yeah, that kind of thing, right? Yeah, go figure that out, right? And it's very narrow, right? Which I think the only advantage it has is it's narrow to keep you from kind of falling all down the steps. I just usually lean, either side of the wall to help me stay up if I need to, which is what I had to do. So now keep in mind how fast this thing happens. So that was around, I'm going to say that was around I'm looking for it right now in history. I went back too far, but I do have it here in my thing here. So let me see. I'm just going to find it. Because it happened yesterday, January 1st, the first day of the year, brothers. I was feeling sick, man. And then I had this damn earthquake land on me. So, and then my wife is sick. So both of us are sick. It's not good because we both have a lot of things to do. And I can't put everything on her. She can't put everything on me because we both got to take care of kids. And we're like, oh man, it's just an absolute nightmare right now. But just giving the guys, I'm just coming up to it now and seeing if I can find one. This thing went back too far. Okay, here we go. So at 1606, it was a 5.5. Now, what I do notice is that whatever it is in the Noto Peninsula there, we're going to be 2 points lower. So that means a 5.5 there is like a 3.5 here. So I felt that. Now I know. I recognize what a 3 feels like. We've had quite a bit of them since the earthquake. Trust me. We're getting a lot of aftershocks. And so that was at 406. I mean, like I said, I looked at my wife. My wife came up and said, oh, great. And then I kind of got my stuff together. And as soon as we start going downstairs, man, all of a sudden everything starts shaking. And it starts shaking really bad. And so I grabbed my daughter, because I would have grabbed her anyway to take her downstairs. I was holding on to her. It was hard to move, man. I couldn't get downstairs. My son was coming up. I'm like, what are you doing? Get downstairs, because I can't have everybody crowding the steps, because if the house collapses on us and we're stuck in the stairway, we're all going to die right away. So that's why I told him, I schooled him after that. I said, look, next time, get under the table. Don't worry about us. Get under the table. That's the thing in Japan. You tell people, don't worry about me. Just get under the table. Get under the table. You know, yes, I see you, brother. See, you got that loud alert. I know. That's what I'm saying, brother. See, there's another brother living in Japan. You got that loud alert in the morning. And that's all the way on the Tokyo side. So they felt it all the way in Tokyo. It wasn't as strong as in Tokyo as it was here, but trust me, they got that alert. So let me get back to just going down the steps thing. So the place was like bam, 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 bam. It was shaking. I mean, it was violently shaking. And brothers, I never heard my wife panic so much. My wife was just panicking. Me, I was just yelling at my son, hey, calm down. My son was going frantic. I said, calm down, calm down, calm down. We're trying to get out of here. Calm down. So as soon as we got downstairs, I was able to look outside, because the steps you turn, you can go right outside. My wife was looking at me like, what are you going to do? What are you doing? What are you doing? I said, I got to get out of this house. We got to get out of this house. We got to get out of this house, because this is an older house. I don't know what this house is going to do, but I'm not dying in this house, and neither is my family. And brothers, the funny thing about it is as sick as I was, when an earthquake hit and I knew I had to save my family, man, I didn't feel sick at all. All of a sudden, the adrenaline started coming through. I held on to my daughter as I was balancing myself, coming down these shaking steps. And I already thought to myself, if I fall on these steps, I'll break my leg, but nothing's going to happen to my daughter. If I got to break my leg, I'm going to break my leg sliding down these steps to get her out of here. But she ain't going to die up in here. And that was the first thing on my mind. None of my family was, but I was holding to my daughter, who's the youngest and didn't know what was going on. But she started fluttering because she knew something wasn't right, because everybody was panicking, right? So as we're coming outside the house, I see all these wires, like poles shaking, everything. I didn't really get, and then everybody's phone's going off in the Japan. You know, they send you these alerts. You get all these alerts on your phone. There's an earthquake, earthquake, earthquake. Whenever you get that alert, jump under the table, find safe cover, because that means your area is going to get hit. That's what that really means. You're going to feel that earthquake, right? You may not feel the 7.6 that they said it figured out it was, but you're going to feel some sort of shaking in your zone, right? So, but like I said, that thing was intense, brothers. It was intense. My water dispenser in my kitchen fell down because it's top heavy, so it fell down. Fortunately, the TV didn't fall off. The kerosene stove that we use, this big white Corona, it did what it's supposed to do. As soon as the earthquake happens, it shuts off automatically. Bam, it just shut off. Because if they don't, you get things falling on. Now you got a house fire, right? So what we did was I went ahead and I opened up my garage, and I pushed the garage thing up from my green bag. My wife was like, I said, get your stuff, get your stuff. My wife's going back, grabbing all my kids' coats and stuff. I got my coat on. I was in my pajamas. I was in my jammies, brothers. But I just put my coat on, man, my boots. And I grabbed my daughter, And then I realized, damn it, the car seat wasn't in the car when I finally got in the garage. So, because I'd already put her in the car, but I said, nope, let me grab her out the car and we'll go back in. I'm holding her like this. My wife and son are getting out. And then I grab the car seat and then I slam it in the car and strap her down and roll on out of the garage real quick because I don't want to get stuck in that garage if that thing falls. And then I parked it in front of the house. And then my wife was talking to my neighbor because my neighbor came down. She was frantic with her son. They were frantic. And so the neighbor went back upstairs. She lived on the second floor, so I can imagine what she was going through. But we were getting out of there. So I went ahead and grabbed my earthquake bag that we had. And look, I just got another alert. There's another earthquake that just happened. It's a 3.6. We've been getting tremors. We got over 200 tremors so far since this thing started. So anyway, went ahead and started driving off. After I threw the earthquake bag in the back on top of the stroller, drove off. Our plan was to go to the area where we're going to live eventually, because that's a safe area because it doesn't shake as much as anywhere else. It's up against the mountain, so it's safer to be in earthquakes. Well, guess what? Everybody was up there. So as we're driving up the hill, we noticed there was a long line to get up to the top. So we just turned back around. We couldn't park on our land because the snow was blocking it. So the snow should have melted a little bit today, but what I'm eventually going to do is I'm eventually going to go shovel that snow up so that if we have to, we'll sleep there overnight if it gets to the point to where it's bad. Okay, so we're driving around. We were going to go to Miyoko. I got a call from a guy that lives in Miyoko. It's a British guy who I befriended back in August and said, hey, man, you're more than welcome to stay up here if you need to, because he didn't know how close we were to the water, because all these people that were escaping were coming from the tsunami. They were trying to get away from that tsunami thing, right? Luckily, we didn't get hit, but the alerts were out there, right? And either way, where we live, we would be okay because we live quite a ways from the water. But we do have a lot of rivers here in Jowitz. So that's what we got to be careful in that. But anyway, so we get back and because I was basically stalling to see if I could get back home. And the funny thing is we got back, we started pulling in front up in our house, and then another alert came. So I took off and drove out again and we were just basically looking to park in open spaces where nothing can fall on us. And we went to this open space. We stayed there for about 20 minutes. Then we went back home and we finally got in the house and we just assessed the damage. The only thing that fell was that water thing. I put that back up. We were able to get water, but now the hot water dispenser doesn't work. It must have broke it. So now I got to say, that, hey, my wife's got to call the water people and say, hey, what do we do? The hot water dispenser broke. They might say, well, you have to get another one, or maybe they might replace it. I don't know what the case may be, but we'll find out. And on top of that, I got to heat my house at night because we got back home and my wife and I quickly decided that nobody's going to sleep upstairs for a week, because the way these earthquakes happen is they say that you got to be careful for about a week because aftershocks can happen. And aftershocks can happen not just after a week, but up to a year. Like last year, they had an earthquake in that same area, I think back in March or something like that. I forgot what month it was. So, because I know my sister was in Kanazawa. She said my sister-in-law was in Kanazawa, and she said she felt it at the time. So, what's up, Mufasa? Thanks, brother. Thank you, brothers, for watching, man. I'm open the panel up too, so brothers got any questions on this, because this is some pretty serious stuff going on here. So, yeah, man. So we get back, we decide, okay, we're not going to sleep upstairs. So I brought all the blankets downstairs. That's why this dining room sounds kind of cluttered, because I'm literally sitting at a table, heater behind me that's turned off for now, because if it was on, I couldn't sit here. Blankets, all like futon, like not futon, but blankets, futons in the closet. My son's blankets, our blankets, big down blankets we got, because we can't sleep with this stove on at night. It's not wise to sleep with a kerosene stove on at night, because kerosene puts out all kind of chemicals, man, like carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, stuff that you don't need to be breathing when you're sleeping, right? So what I do is last night I closed the living room doors. I opened up the side doors and the bathroom window because it's close to that. Cut the heater off, right? So let that vent out the smell. Leave those doors closed, and then I come in from this side because I don't want to let the cold air in. Despite all that, last night when we were asleep, it got down to 7 degrees Celsius. And I know DS Dog knows what I'm talking about on that, but just to let you brothers know what that means. 7 degrees Celsius is basically about 44 degrees, and we're sleeping in 44-degree weather because the air conditioning heater unit in our living room, which is pretty good, which was good, broke. And it's been broke for like 3 weeks now. And we've been trying to get it fixed. The guy came out, supposedly fixed it, but he didn't. It broke again. Then the last time he was out here, they had to take the whole box. We're in the middle of the holiday season, so ain't nobody replacing nothing right now. I'm quite mad at that guy right now because he didn't do his goddamn job when he first came out here. So, you know, I don't show him that, but I am, because that's Japanese. You save face. You like, I'll let, basically when he comes again, I'll say, oh, thank you very much, and get out of here. I'm not gonna treat him any special. Thank you. See you. Get out of my house. Because that thing is broke, now I can't warm the house up at night like I want to, right? Because I don't always need to use this kerosene stove. I'd rather use that, because I use the same air conditioning unit that we bought brand new up in the master bedroom, but I can't sleep up there right now because I'm going to wait for a week because, like I said, I don't feel safe running down those steps in the middle of an earthquake. See, and you don't want to be on the second floor anyway. Now, the good thing about this house where we live is not every part is covered by a room. So like where I'm sitting at right now, there's nothing above us. So I got this dining table right here. So basically what my wife, and this thing is solid wood. So I bought this thing back in 2005 from IKEA, but it's a solid wood table. So that's what you're supposed to do. You get in Japan, you get an earthquake, you get under a table. That's why you saw people in videos getting under tables, because things that'll fall down, they'll hit the tables. You rarely want to get something that's going to come down or flat on the table unless you're talking about cement. And cement doesn't usually fall that way in Japan, although you did see that video where the whole office building fell on the side. I seen that also during the Kobe quake, where buildings fell on their side just because they have liquefaction issues. The land was too soft, they got too much water under there, and it just fell down. Most people don't make buildings like that in Japan. They're very safe and secure, but for some reason that designer, that builder didn't do his goddamn job. So that's why the office tower fell down. And it was sad. Luckily nobody was in there, but yeah, it fell into another building. So I know you've seen the videos, you've seen the damage out there. It's trust me, it's a lot. Even in our city of Joetsu, we did notice that around our castle, that in the front of the castle part, the castle seems to be okay, but there's some areas in front of the castle that kind of like little stone standing things that fell down. So I was going to drive over that way and see the damage, but I don't really want to be in Honcho right now because Honcho is a really soft earthquake zone. And so I'm sure they got more damage than we think, and they haven't showed it yet. But so far, the big damage areas, they got damage in Ishikawa got hit hard. Now, to give you an example, Ishikawa, like I said, that hook that sticks out in Japan. So when you look on the map of Japan, you see on the west side, Tokyo's on the opposite side, you see that hook, and then you see this funny shaped island north of the hook. That's Sado Island. That's part of Niigata Prefecture, right? But where we live, if we drove just a little bit toward Itoigawa, then we could look out far on a clear day, we could see that jut of land sticking out from the water. That's the hook of Ishikawa Prefecture. So we still have to drive through the rest of our prefecture, which is big, and then go through Toyama, which is a smaller prefecture, and then end up in Ishikawa. The way they got to set up, you can get there quicker that way. See? So that's how that will work. But still, driving is long, but like distance-wise, it's much closer than people think. And then what I discovered is because we had some aftershocks today, and trust me, we jumped under the table once today so far. And my wife and I, in fact, and my son, she jumped in the shower real quick. Then she got done. Then my daughter jumped in. She showered off my daughter. Then my daughter got done. Then we dried her off, dressed her up real good. I jumped in. I feel good because I was able to shave and shower up real good. And I got out quick. And then my son got in the shower real quick because I said we do not want to be in the shower butt naked and this thing's kick off, right? So like we don't know. It's like you're in a war. You don't know when you're going to get attacked. You don't know when you got what you got. And the scary thing about being in an earthquake is you don't know what's going to happen. Forget about predictions. Forget about the probabilities. Brothers, when you're in an earthquake, you don't know. You don't know what's going to end up. You really don't. All you can do is be prepared. Now, we do have an earthquake bag, and we do know that now we need to get under this table, right? I told my son, If you're downstairs, it happens. Get under the table. The rule of thumb in the family: don't think about nobody else. Get under there and protect yourself first. Protect yourself first. That's what you got to do. We all going to make sure we're protected, right? I'm going to make sure everybody's protected. And I'm the kind of guy that I don't care what people think. If it's going to save my family, then that's what I'm going to do. Because they were looking at me like, why are you going? Why are you leaving? Where are you going? Where are you going? I knew where I was going. I was going to go right to Oniki where it's safer. That's why I already had plans where to go. The thing is, though, when we're driving around, we got to watch these poles, electric wires, and everything. But like I said, we shook, but whatever they have over there, we're going to get 2 behind, so 2 points lower. So, like I said, they were 7.6 on the Richter scale. That means we were 5.6. Trust me, 5.6 is not light. And if they had an 8.6 and we had a 6, I don't think this house would have stood up. I think this house would have came down. So that's why my first thing was we got to get out of this house. And I wasn't thinking about anything, about stuff falling, because you don't want to be near glass when an earthquake happens. You don't want to be near glass because glass will break. Glass can kill you because it's going to shards, it's sharp, fall on you. When we have no helmets, I would basically just be covering my daughter's head and my wife and son be covering her head and walking out. We got our car parked right in front of our house, but that doesn't mean that we'll be able to escape in our car if stuff's going to fall in our car and debris is going to get in the street to block our exit. You see videos where people's whole roofs fall right down their house. Now, here's why that happens, brothers. It's because, and I've seen this in Kobe, it's because a lot of the older homes use those heavy tiles. They use heavy tiles, but they have light walls. So it's just like imagine putting a thick cardboard box on top of just a sheet of paper, 4 sheets of paper, right? As soon as it shakes, that thing's gonna, like a pancake, it's gonna fall right down. And you see videos and pictures of these roofs just dropping right from the second all the way to the first floor, and that's it, smashing everything. Cars trapped under there. You still got a lot of people trapped in their homes out there in Ishikawa Prefecture, up on that hook. You seen what happened to Kanazawa Station. There was panic all in there. Kanazawa Station was shaking hard, and we've been there a few times, and that's a nice station. It's not damaged or nothing, but when you're in the station, you see stuff just shaking all over the place. That's not a good feeling, brothers. I'm sure that's not a good feeling. The Shinkansen, Mufasa was asking about the Shinkansen. The Shinkansen automatically shuts down. So if it's Shinkansen on the track, and if there's an earthquake, the Shinkansen senses really quick, and they just shut down. They just all of a sudden they just stop right where they at. It's like 1, 2, 3 red light, and they 1, 2, 3 red light right on those tracks, and that's it. So now what they're doing before they resume service, and they resume services in a lot of parts now. But before they resume service, they run over the tracks. They send something over the tracks to make sure everything is good. If not, they repair it real quick, and then things resume. Oh, we're shaking. We're shaking now. Guys, we're shaking. Okay, we just got hit, guys, with an aftershock right in the middle of this video. And see, we got to be careful because, see, this is what it does. It'll shake low, and then it'll start shaking badly. So we just shook here. So I didn't get any alert right now on that, but I'm definitely checking now as I go up and see what's going on. Now that shake felt like that was a 5.8 or 9 over there. I can pretty much tell now because that felt more like a 3.8 that we just felt. In fact, that was the most that we shook since yesterday. And it was a short jolt. But I don't really like this feeling that I'm experiencing, brothers. I'm telling you right now, it's a very stressful feeling. And look, I've only been talking to you brothers for 29 minutes and I've already had a shake. If I get a few more shakes like that, what I am going to do is I'm going to grab my shovels, take my family with me, and we're going to go shovel up that snow in front of our land in Oniki, and we're going to camp out there tonight with our blankets and whatnot, because we're not going to sit up here and we're not going to be up here. And if we can't, brother, we're not dying out here. So it's just an experience that we just can't predict. We can't predict anything, brother. We really can't. We can't predict anything. So with that said, man, I just want to open this panel up to let the brothers see if the brothers got any questions. Like I said, I probably won't be able to do the stream that long. We'll see what's going on. Funny thing is, I didn't get no alert on my phone, so maybe it was just a quick joke. But I didn't get any alerts or nothing. Usually, you get that dun dun. When you get that dun dun, that means that shake is probably gonna be worse than you expect. And then I would be pulling my family under this table right here. But until we figure out what's going on. But I'm gonna open this panel up, brothers. I'm gonna send you guys the invite. You're more than welcome to join. And ask me any questions you want. Because this has been a very traumatic experience, brothers. But at the same token, I'm enjoying my life here in Japan. You get disasters everywhere. Disasters are going to happen. Like I said, this is my second experience with an earthquake in Japan, and this is my worst experience because I'm now feeling a lot of aftershocks. And I understand how aftershocks work. People think aftershocks can be lighter. Aftershocks are not necessarily going to be lighter, because they can have a 8.0, for all we know, at any time of the night or day. And then that's when we start worrying, because if we're a 6, this place will be shaking off the rails. And we don't know how this place is going to hold up. That's why my whole thing was, we got to get up out of here, right? So as I'm sitting here thinking, I may just decide to take my family up that hill and just sleep up that hill every night until this thing calms down, because I don't like the way this thing is going. So I got the panel open. If the brothers want to get on, there's a stream right there. If I don't hear anything about 5 minutes, I'm gonna shut it down. This is your brother in Japan, using my BSP channel to put the stream out. I gotta look out for my fam, brothers. I'm not feeling too good right now, because I don't know what's gonna come next. And that's the thing with earthquakes, you don't know what's gonna come next. You just sit there and you just like, whoa, what's gonna happen? What's going on? But I tell you though, what's worse than earthquakes to me are tornadoes, because tornadoes, they come out of nowhere, man. You be sitting in the thing, you don't get a warning, and all of a sudden you hear this siren and what? And then your house is ripped apart, right? But like I said, over here, we do get the warning in. I didn't get the warning that time, but and I still don't see it on my thing here as alert come up. Let me go to NHK's alert. NHK World. Somebody should have sent us an okay, so see, there it is. They said that a 5.6 just hit. So see, I was about right. See, so I'm getting better at predicting or at saying the intensity of these earthquakes now, because, like I said, I know that we are 2 below. Yeah, we just got hit with a 3. I mean, that was this morning. I don't know why it's not coming up. Wait a second. I'm trying to see where's the latest is at. Oh, here we go. 1501. So, they said they got hit with a 3.4 at 301 and 301 that we just felt 7 minutes ago. Well, we felt it. It shook us. And it was only a 3.4. So we felt the shake. So, excuse me. So, but yeah, no matter what, brother, it's not a good feeling, brothers. It's not a good feeling being involved in this type of activity. But like I said, I'm looking forward to when we get back to normal, when we can start going back upstairs, go to sleep, but still, that's going to play on our minds. As long as we live in this house, it's going to play on our minds for months until we start getting our new house built. Because we know when we're in a new house is going to be safer. It's a safer area. We don't really worry too much about that. If an earthquake's going to be that bad and going to fall, then so be it. At least we know that we did do everything we could to live in a safe house. But this place right here is getting kind of scary to me. But like I said, I haven't seen any houses in Joets fall down, so they must do something. They must not be hitting us too hard. But like I said, I know at a 6 point something, if you shaking for like a minute, your house ain't gonna be standing up. So with that said, brothers, I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down. Thank you, brothers, for watching. I'm gonna go ahead and get my family and make sure everything's all right. Talk to the brothers later. This is your brother who just survived the deadly earthquake here in Japan.